Welcome back to Worldwide News. I'm Harrison Young alongside Avery Crafts. We have updated news coming from Southeast Asia today. The Chinese capital, Nanjing, was overtaken by Japanese forces just days ago. Earlier this year, the Chinese and the Japanese were involved in the Marco Polo Bridge incident, sparked by Japanese-Manchurian alliance. The alliance was meant to take over communist powers in China, but led to this ongoing Second Sino-Japanese War.
After the fall of Nanjing, over 250,000 Chinese civilians were massacred by Japanese troops. Another 80,000 women were raped. It seems as if this war is nowhere close to being resolved, and already millions of innocent Chinese civilians have been slaughtered. This could lead to a global outbreak of war, with major world powers siding with one of the two feuding countries.
You can see here the true horrible nature of the massacre of Nanjing, and specifically how the Japanese felt no mercy for the Chinese.
That's the conclusion of our newscast today. Tune in again next week to find out more about the war. Good night. Welcome back to Worldwide News. I'm Harrison Young alongside Avery Crafts. We have good news for the Allies today. We've been told from multiple sources that the Germans have been stopped by the Soviet Union and the Battle of Stalingrad has reached a conclusion. General Friedrich Paulus of the German army has surrendered with less than half of the men he started with.
A battle that started July 17, 1942 has gone on for 4.5 months and resulted in the deaths of almost 2 million military members and civilians. The Russian general, W.W.I. Zhukov, was able to best Paulus by continuing to bring more and more reinforcements to halt the Germans. That, along with strong defenses, led to Stalingrad remaining under Russian control. While General Zhukov was focused on defense for the Russians, Marshal Georgy K. Zhukov led the counter-offense. With the Germans denied from being able to take control of Stalingrad, it is said that this could be the turning point in the war in favor of the Allies.
As this image shows, the Germans were no match for the prepared Allied Russians. The Russians, shown here, were ready for the harsh, cold winters, as the Germans were not.
That's the conclusion of our newscast today. Thanks for watching and be sure to tune back in for more updates. Welcome back to Worldwide News. I'm Harrison Young alongside Avery Crafts. We have breaking news coming from North Africa. As you know, Italy, in Axis power, has been quarreling with Allied power Britain for the Northern Territory in Africa. Italy was in search for the power over the Suez Canal, which would then cut off provisions for Britain. This setback seems as if it would have hurt the Allies' chances for winning the war.
Up until just a few days ago, the two forces had gone back and forth with territorial gains since the September of 1940, when Libya, occupied by Italy, attacked British-occupied Egypt. But this past week, the Allied powers finally closed in on the Axis powers in Morocco, Libya, and Algeria, which sealed a victory for the Allied powers. This victory gained them backdoor access into Europe, a huge boost of motivation for the Allied powers.
As you can see from this photo, the Allied reinforcements gradually overcame the Axis barriers and proved to be too much for the Italian reinforcements to handle, as the Allies closed in on the Axis powers in Tunisia.
That's the conclusion of our newscast today. Join us next week for more updates. Good night. Welcome back to Worldwide News. I'm Harrison Young alongside Avery Crafts. This just in, Allied forces' largest seaborne invasion, Operation Overlord, has been deemed a success. Allied powers, led by the Americans, have stormed 5 beaches along the coast of Normandy, northern France. The Americans were helped by British and Canadian troops.
Before D-Day, Dwight D. Eisenhower was appointed commander of the Allies' large-scale deception campaign designed to mislead the Germans from the beach of Normandy and direct their attention to Pas de Calais. To make sure Hitler was completely fooled, a phantom army, double agents, and misleading radio conversations were put into play. This tactic led Allied powers to storm the beaches, surprising the German opposition. Over 326,000 Allied troops landed on the beaches.
As the successful raid of the beaches from June 6th until today ends, it seems it will turn the tide against the Nazis. Interestingly enough, Eisenhower actually wanted the plan to be conducted a day earlier on June 5th. However, bad weather prevented them from doing so.
You can see here the cliffs of Point du Hoc, where the Allies had to fight against the Germans while climbing up extremely high rock cliffs. Even through this struggle, the Allies were able to take over Point du Hoc by heavy airstrike and the use of well-prepared infantry units.
The storming of the beach will prevent Hitler from sending troops to France to build up his eastern front against the advancing Soviets. This bodes well for the Allied powers and an end to this terrible war.
Well, that's the conclusion of our show tonight. Tune back in later for more updates. Good night. Welcome back to Worldwide News. I'm Harrison Young alongside Avery Crafts. We are very happy to have you back with us today. We have some very important news that's come to us from Northwest Europe. The Battle of the Bulge has ended and the Allies have won back the territory they held at the beginning of the war.
When this month-long battle began on December 16th, it was not looking hopeful for the Allies. Hitler sent around 250,000 troops from southern Belgium to Luxembourg. The battle got its name from the Bulge German troops created while going into Allied defenses.
To make sure everything would be carried out just the way he wanted, Hitler put Field Marshals Walter Model and Gerd von Rundstedt in charge. Their main mission, the capture of Antwerp. If Hitler was able to pull this off, it would have shifted the war back into his favor. The American and British armies would have been separated and the Allies would be without a much-needed seaport.
As you can see in this photograph, the Allies were set back tremendously by the cold weather. However, when the weather improved, the Allies were able to overcome the Germans in the Battle of the Bulge.
The Germans were helped by bad weather, particularly snowstorms, that hindered the Allies' air raid and scouting abilities. General Dwight D. Eisenhower and Lieutenant General George Patton, along with clear skies, helped to stop the Germans' quest for Antwerp. By the end of January, the Battle of the Bulge had ended lives or injured more than 76,000 Americans. The Germans had over 80,000 military personnel killed, wounded, missing, or captured.
That's the conclusion of our show. Tune in next week to find out more. Good night. And the fire was put out after 14 hours. I'm receiving a call from my emergency phone. Yes? Wow! That's amazing. Okay. The Allies have just won the war! Yeah! That's the conclusion for our newscast today. Join us next week for That's the
Wait.
Ready?
Yeah.
They held at the beginning of the war.
When this month-long battle began on December 16th, it was not looking hopeful for the Allies.
What? At the beginning of the war.
When this month-long battle
Have won back the territory that they held at the beginning of the war. Fuck you, dude. I just started one. I saved it.
You said territory.
News just came to us from Northwest Europe.
Oh my god! Oh!
Stop, Harrison, put the actual one on.
You told me to wear this
I was
one.
joking.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Put the other one on. Now.